fall behind, it is a tall order to be able to kill this top side in game one.
It certainly will be, Max. That it certainly will be as we load into the Rift for our second best of 3 of the night. A second elimination in that lower bracket. Iron and KNG taking to the Rift to show what they're made of. Iron coming in as that 4th seed with an upper bracket showing last night. They drop on down. And they go up against the 5th seed in KNG. The last meeting with different rosters ended in a 1-1 draw. There's a bit of spice in that one, and there's a bit of spice here tonight as well. It's time to see if there's any level 1 shenanigans, but as we can see, they both invaded opposite ends.
Nice read here from KNG as well. You can see that because they are sending members to the top side in that blue buff, they want to make sure Styx is hovering back, not able to fall victim to any potential level 1 play. And with that ward there, you do imagine Woodon is in position if he needs to be able to harass Foreigner if he's going to start there, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the case whatsoever. Kurak, or you can see it almost looked like he was about to face check this bush. Styx,
be careful. Out comes the pounce. Rocket jump instantly. Styx with the focus. Oh, so low. The flash underneath the tower. Jovi's going to die for it, but he'll be happy with that first blood. And if they get the invade and stealing this blue buff right afterwards, you'd say it's a win overall.
Yeah, they're very happy with that start here from Ion as well. The TP is going to come out from Jovi to be able to get him back into that lane phase with no time wasted whatsoever. Now, kind of a pro for Styx is that he will get the kill there. You could see Kurak held his auto attack, so the turret kill would go over to the Jhin. That's going to make him feel slightly better as he will have an item advantage coming back to lane. But you can see really nice level 1 planning here from Ion. They acknowledge that they have that double Hail of Blades AD carry in the bot lane, which are just so potent, meaning that they're going to be able to push him out of his bot lane jungle. So Invictus doesn't get to start his blue like he would have imagined. And he actually only has 2 CS here, Skimmy. I don't know what happened there, whether his wolf camp got denied away, but that means his jungle clear will be significantly slower because he didn't have access to that level 2 after the first camp.
Yeah, you can only imagine that's the case, right? It would seem very bizarre for you to walk away from a wolf camp and not complete it. It's disappeared on the map, and it's interesting, right? For the overall, I guess, vibe of tonight has been if you're playing the Vi, you will just get simply put behind, and it will be an uphill battle to try and wrangle any form of control back. We've known that Invictus has been very keen to try and go for this full clear style, whereas Foreigner much more of the LCO veteran to showcase that it's all about the ganking, all about the pressure, making sure that those steady hands do prevail.
Yeah, and you can see already how hard this mid lane matchup is for Ryu Fury. He's opted for the Doran shield to provide that extra bit of sustain in his laning phase. But even so, Jovi, with this longsword advantage, will just be able to crash the waves, and this becomes the issue here. Is this mid lane, bot lane priority that you're always going to have? As we take a look once again here. Yeah, seems like Foreigner, just plain and simple. Oh my goodness.
No way.
The damage over time from his jungle pet killed the big wolf.
He's weaved in the dot damage, and it's worked out beautifully with the parving away there by Invictus. Worst case scenario for him, but he is going to work his way towards his bottom scuttler to guarantee some control of the vision. And then poke his head into mid lane with the red buff active. Ryu Fury not able to land that taunt just yet. The stun, or rather the headbutt in, and just gets simply buffered away by a nice rocket jump. Very hard to shut this Tristana down.
I'm so surprised he doesn't flash after him though there. Like, he can just close that distance, knows that Tristana has no flash. Even if you're insta-taunting, you'll be buying time for Vi to get that bolt breaker off. So a bit of a missed opportunity from the KNG mid-jungle there. As we check back in with bot lane. This is really where you do expect the skirmishing to be early on, right? Double range bot lanes, getting either one ahead can be so influential to how this game plays out. It looks like Invictus will just channel his base here as KNG shove this wave out. Now, the crash is the all-important thing. Can they get it and safely reset? Because Foreigner's coming off his base. Barmy Cinder completed. And I'm sure he'd love nothing more than to pick on this summonerless bot lane.
That's what he would do. Would make things really favourable then for that very oppressive bot lane pairing of the Varus and the Ashe. Obviously so much trading potential between them with the double Halo Blades, but you speak about trading, and something to be expected here topside, because Woodon without a TP, going for that combat summon of the Ignite, is going for the all-in like he's done time and time again. He's going to try and make it happen underneath that tower. He's taking one turret shot. The Ignite is ticking, but he needs to weave in one more auto because it's survived by 35 HP.
Yeah, he just messed up the mechanics there, unfortunately, from Woodon. Wasn't able to get the nice combo there. But the big thing is, Skimmy, I mean, look at this wave that's potentially crashing. He ticks level 6. There's no way Doraemon can stay here. He's going to be forced back to base, and with no TP, this is absolutely huge. Just a massive loss in XP and CS for this K'Sante.
Really is threatening there with that level 6 advantage, hoping to try and hit that hack and slash to get the execute from far away. But the zone is just enough, and now having that TP advantage really isn't the case much more. You mentioned just how crazy it could be in that top side. Well, you can only imagine now that Fury's crest over to 6 as well. If the fight were to occur once more, even better for them. I say that, bot lane is the focus, good flash, and a barrier for good measure, which actually finds 0 value. Because after the flash was burnt, no more damage came out.
Yeah, the thing is though, is this will partially reset the wave, which is the important thing for the Kanga bot lane. You could see Invictus was hovering towards that bot side because he was anticipating Foreigner to come and gank. But all this while, Foreigner's been building himself up a really decent CS lead now, 42 to 26 here, which is going to be even more once he completes this dragon. So, you know, Maokai typically isn't this early game hyper farming jungler, but he's definitely playing it like it is.
Certainly is. He's on one right now. He's going to be an incredibly strong tank. I do wonder if he's going to tech into a more AP-orientated build, like we've seen in the past with the Liandry's coming in first. They will be very AOD-focused otherwise, but that's a question that we can ask once it comes around. I suppose there is the other argument, like you mentioned during the drafting phase, of just building full tank, picking up a Frozen Heart, Twisted Advance on a Jhin, and just laughing at him suffer by doing 0 DPS.
Well, I mean, you certainly have enough damage, especially with this Tristana coming online. You know, it looks like the route Foreigner wants to take. Always been so good at playing that facilitative role. Because right now, Invictus will be spotted out here on this last grub. He doesn't have Smite though, so likely we should just be able to finish this off and get out scot-free. Ramon just has to watch as that is taken in his face. But as we check back in with mid lane, 20 is now the CS gap. And you can see a turret plate soon to fall here in this mid lane. Jovi doing such a nice job of peppering on towards Fury. The support's brought up for good measure, but there goes the taunt. But there's always a rocket jump.
There certainly is. That shield taunt is always going to be there, hunting for a moment to strike. And Jovi, ever so keen and focused in lane, is going to deny the potential for a nice little roam there by Kurak off the reset to find any form of success. You can see Foreigner summoning all these saplings in multiple different bushes, acting as a pseudo ward, really there to reveal and guarantee that he can continue to press his lead. You said before, up by 20. He's up by even more after this. And Invictus unable to actually invade because he doesn't have priority.
That's the really hard part. I mean, top lane, yes, you did have that massive push. And really, that is where you could be leveraging a priority. But after you took those Void Grubs, what more is there for you to get? You really do have to play damage control to an extent, because if your bot lane is left alone on a wave like this, just the threat of Foreigner can be enough to really put pressure onto the Kanga bot lane here. As you see, they will manage to pick up the majority of that CS. And Styx has actually been forced to go. Hold on, here goes Nebula.
And the corruptions are out. Curate flashing away to safety. Out comes the self-cast off that shield, and Styx! He's going to get it done. He had the uptime. He's been untouched. He's hunting for a kill of his own. Waiting for the reload. Flashing to hit it. Wanting a little bit more. The ult comes on through, but a little bit too late, as the mitigation wasn't enough by that falling Galio. It was Kurek that picks it up with the tick of that ignite. Says Foreigner comes on through with that Nature's Grass to lock them down. A flash twisted advance. A bramble smash onto 2. And Jovi picks up 1. Reset rocket jumps onto 2. And Ion really looking the goods.
It's a disaster for Kanga there. Jovi picking up all the kills here on this Tristana. That was the game plan for them heading in. They thought that Jovi would be able to gap us. Hold on. Ignite's out here.
Certainly is. Woodon looking for the execute with that blade, but it's just not enough, unfortunately. Second time it's come around, but I mean, he's building up a monumental lead for his own.
Yeah, 30 CS now, almost 40 after these waves will be all said and done here. Let's take a look at this bot lane placement. Level 6 tick here from Barish. Instant chain of corruption to come out onto Kurak, but a nice flash to get him out of harm's way. And that means that Styx will be able to finish up the kill. Ignite actually picking up for Kurak. And then he's going for, but this is a Jhin with basically only boots in hand, not really doing too much damage. Fury arrives to the scene, but what does this Galio actually do? And by the time Foreigner rocks up, has the flash available, he turns it around. It's also a nice mechanical play here from Jovi. You can see Invictus still has flash here, so waits till 3 charges of the bomb have been popped, jumps in, so even if there was that flash to come out, he'd have a second jump to follow. And now this mid-jungle gap is really pronounced here for Ion.
Oh, it's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. As you say there, Max, 10 minutes on the dot. And Jovi's reset in. with a 4-on-1 scoreline to pick up a Kraken Slayer, doing so much damage so early on for Tristana, just feels a little bit criminal. Let's check in with the overall gold, and you can see that it really is light and day between everybody that even touches the sorcerer. He's up by 1,000 on no Sven member for KNG, and even Foreigner is sorely lagging behind.
Yeah, I mean, basically if you took him off, it would be a pretty normal gold graph, but you can see that Jovi has just been so good at getting active early on in this game, and this was my concern with the Galio pick early on, is you're just completely ceding your priority in a game where you already have to be playing for your bot lane to get the push. But now Jovi making it a living hell for Ryu Fury in this middle lane. You can see as well, Foreigner is up towards this top side. Knows that Woodon loves to get aggressive, especially with that ultimate coming back on board. They're looking at him, but he has flash.
They certainly are. They're going to try and find what they can. Instant flash out of that bush. Like the sapling on ward there to protect any kind of craziness. And you can see the patience from Foreigner more than anything, right? Anticipating that Invictus may be hovering in the area, ready to counteract and be there to act as that second member. It wasn't to be, though. He's put his attention towards bot side, playing around this Jhin, making sure that this Jhin is their focal point. And it will be that simple trade there, with Kenga finding the first 3 Void Grubs. Iron will respond with the second.
Yeah, it's become so hard to make any plays when Tristana can move as freely as she does. Also a nice just lean from Foreigner to get up towards that top side, force the flash out from Woodon, and that also buys a little window in which Doraemon feels free to walk down. So Foreigner, you know, basically every team we speak to kind of paints him as the player to look out for on Ion, which can often go understated because of how explosive some of these solo laners can be. We check back in with the bot lane here. Invictus is here if there's a play to happen, and I think it just might.
Hard forcing the play. The patience is rewarded now, looking for a double kill with double ults coming on out. At a range of the curtain call, his Styx is forced to cancel, and Hex Flash relegates himself underneath this tower. The Mantra Q not connecting, but the damage was always going to be there. Invictus may die! The shield from the Karma just simply not enough. And Iron have to be happy that they at least walk away with something.
Yeah, they trade one back, but Invictus there, nice play to get both kills onto the bot lane of Ion. Ryu Fury in the mid lane, he's just getting solo killed.
Ryu Fury might just simply fall on down there. Very lucky that the shield came in at the clutch of time, but a flash jump across. Scratch your heads, because this Tristana really is a 1v9 menace.
Yeah, it's so brutal in this mid lane. You can see Ryu Fury very frustrated with how things are turning out in this mid lane. Not what he wanted to get from the draft. Can you take a look once again here? So off this wave crash, you can see Ion, they're wanting to deny this wave from going into their turrets. They use the Barisar aggressively, but that buys time for Invictus, who's just been waiting in this area to get back. And you can see actually off this play, Invictus missing the Q, which means that the aggro goes onto Kurak here. He's the one taking the turret. And ultimately it gets so charged up that it will take down Invictus eventually. But, you know, in a game where Tristana is so far ahead, you need to get gold back into your carry somehow. And that could be the thing that brings Styx back into this game.
So it could be, and they'll be relying upon him to try and do the heavy lifting to get themselves into a strong mid-game point, because Jovi at this stage is really going to do as he pleases. The Galio's not going to contest him. They're going to need a jungler to help as well. The tower's still alive. Ryu Fury's working in tandem with this turret and looking for the shutdown, and he finds it. How, Max? How does this happen? It feels illegal. That shouldn't be the case. Out goes the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Here comes in the Nature's Grasp. Foreigner with one target in mind. Shut this fire down, but the shielding and the healing is absurd. And they get completely baited into a falsehood. Doraemon TPing in, thinking I'm here to rock up and showcase what a Cassante can do. But even he gets locked on down by the damage. And Kurak, as a supportive Karma, he's got 3 kills.
Yeah, Ryu Fury catching out Jovi on the bot side of the map as hold on Styx. He's popped the curtain call. He's just going to kill some minions with it. But a fantastic turn of event there for Kanga. Jovi really just greeting to try to kill that turret. Gets cancelled on the rocket jump and falls down to Ryu Fury in that 1v1. And that opens up the window here. You can see that after this play happens, he's incredibly quick to TP, as they know that Hex Flash knows summoners from that previous fight. They're very willing to collapse on him. Foreigner is there for the response, but plain and simple, Kanga, they have the numbers advantage. They get people to the area first, and they're able to secure the fight here. Ryu Fury, you can see, buys the CC, which allows the flash forward to come through from Styx. It's a good knockback from Doraemon, but ultimately there's just too much shielding, too much CC, and Woodon with the fantastic R2. Secure the team fight win for Kanga.
It certainly was, and it's really flipped the script on this one. You're thinking that Iron were going to really run away with it, led by the captain of Jovi, showcasing what he can do from such a strong point 15 minutes in, but from bot to mid, really did just go from great to pretty poor, because now KNG have actually taken the gold lead back. And yes, still very slim margins, but they're nowhere near in a position of getting snowballed upon.
No, absolutely not. And this is kind of subdued the Tristana for the time being, which is really the key thing here. If she's allowed to get into a team fight, the DPS that she's providing really can seem to be too much. But across the board here, Item Spike's feeling pretty good. Malignant's online for Kurak. Shirelli's as well for Ryu Fury, so really building into this supportive style. He wants to empower his team. But so far, he's been doing a good job of that. With 30 seconds on this next dragon, you can see all the control in the bot side river belonging to Kanga. However, they don't feel comfortable pressuring this turret. Knowing Foreign is in the area, this Maokai can do so much work as an engage. Now look at the minimap here, Skimmy. Kasance is actually walking here. Doraemon wanting to group with his team. And here goes Invictus.
They're going for the 4v5 Arkango. One is still pushing topside. He has no TP. Bear that in mind. Out comes the Quinn. Sticks to focus right now. The explosive shot enough to take him. But he gets a cut shoot from Kurak at the very last moment. The piercing arrow is not enough as Doraemon charges into life, dodging out of that snipe that Styx was hoping to find. Fury is just a meager supportive Galio at this point of the game.
Whoa.
And Jovi with the double item spike means business.
Trades the 1-for-1 there, but gets the shutdown. You have to be happy with that as a Tristana. And Skimmy, for what we kind of described as a series all about skirmishes, that really does not disappoint. You can see the initial engage is good from Invictus, recognizing that they have to walk in if they want to contest the dragon. But plain and simple, Doraemon's arrival catches them off guard. So let's take a look once again. Foreigner does face check. It's a very tanky Maokai though, and only really a Jin who's able to DPS. So by the time you're actually able to burn him down decently to force him out of the fight, Jovi and Doraemon have arrived. And Kasante really is the difference maker here. A nice W to cancel the taunt and pick up the kill on Ryu Fury. And then off the back end, you know how much damage Jovi is willing to do. Just trading 1-for-1 here, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world because you do get that shutdown from Karma. So pretty gold positive trade. As we come back out, 1,000 is the gold lead for Ion.
It certainly is. They keep flipping and flopping all over the show. In their last series, the gold lead never went over 10,000. Never actually even reached 10,000. That's how close these two teams are. As once again, the focus becomes about finding a skirmish. And I feel like, really, this game is about, well, who cares if there's an objective or not? We just want to scrap. The focus is shut down the Karma again, remove the utility, and remove the ability for them to find fights so successfully. As you said before, up by 1,000, and now they get to plant all this vision and do as they please.
I mean, who cares about fighting over an objective when fighting is the objective here? And it really feels like that is the case for both of these teams here. You could see a nice little play catching Kurak off guard. He wanted to get that flash over the wall, but ultimately just too much CC keeping him from doing so. And now, as we check into the inventory, 7, 3, and 0, Jovi is here on this Tristana. And the Void Quid's picked up, and with Foreigner in the area, he's feeling aggressive.
He certainly is. Cross-map Ashol. Is it going to connect you? I don't believe it! He's a sniper! Dead on his Hex Splash, and dead is Woodon.
What a play there to predict all the movement coming out from a Riven and still land the arrow. Hexflash really putting this Ashe to use. And once again, it is Jovi who's going to pick up the kill here. You can see Ryu Fury TP's in, but this Galio really offers nothing more than CC and a bit of a speed boost to his teammates. These side lanes really do start becoming a problem. You can see Kanga, they're thinking of rotating up their support jungle here to potentially answer. But this Tristana is just so mobile, being able to buffer that CC from the Galio makes it incredibly hard to actually lock down Jovi.
It certainly does. You'd imagine it would be the only difference between these two as it now goes to a 2k lead back in favor of Ion. As once again, the equilibrium keeps bouncing all over the show, showcasing who can be the better team as we fast approach that Baron spawn. Jovi being 8-3 by that point in time. Yes, he's had a moment where he's been shut down uncharacteristically by Ryu Fury underneath that bot tier 1, but he's bounced back with a vengeance. And let's check in then with the overall gold. You can see just how far ahead he is. And yeah, answers the point, right? He really is that difference between himself and Kanga.
It's huge. It's 2,500 above anyone else who is close to him right now. And this Tristana, I mean, you do have a Vi ultimate to potentially lock him down, but then you're kind of sacrificing the damage that you could be placing onto Nebula on this Barrow. So obviously Tristana is priority number one. That's priority number one for KNG here. Seems to be getting towards this bot lane turret, but all the while, this is Tristana left alone with the turret. Not only is there that explosive charge and all the attack speed gained from Q, but it's a demolish as well to come out from Jovi. So these turrets absolutely melt like butter. And you can see this is really going to sway KNG. They feel like they have to walk up and contest him, which buys all this time for the rest of Ion to get things done on the map. Frees up Nebula and Hexflash to be able to push out and get the vision where they want to. You can see wards around the Baron now. This will spot out correct. A really nice ward just behind that Raptor wall there to be able to spot any movement towards that top lane. Buys so much room for the split pushes here as now we crest over the 21-minute mark. A minute left on what could be a soul point for Ion. How are we shutting down this Tristana? That has to be the name of the game.
Well, it absolutely has to be, right? A full item over anybody else in this entire lobby, so it's so difficult right now to try and raise the candles to him and say, well, you're meant to be weak early, you need to get stronger as the game progresses. But he's just picked up the LDR. Styx has that rushed item number 2 himself as well. Fancy feet, dodging out as he cleanses out of one stun. Dodges out of the air shot right afterwards. But there's always pressure on the mid lane because all they want to look at is that Baron.
And this absolutely melts, right? You can see no vision whatsoever for KNG. They do know it's being started, but how do you get actually into the pit? We've seen so many Baron steals in recent times, but I don't think Ion want to let it come to that. They're going for it.
There's this on. It seems to be that one person gets rooted in place. That is the supporter style Galio. Wooden leaping across that wall, looking to try and find a moment to try and shut somebody down. The root Legion is good. The taunt gets knocked back. Good buster shot as they go all in on that target, and the shutdown goes on to Jovi. They can't afford to lose him. And now KNG look to try and run away with things. Double kill by the aggressive Riven pick here. And for all that strength that Iron had, they've lost it again.
KNG are snatching victory from the jaws of defeat here. They turn it around with a nice CC layering onto Jovi, who's unable to flash and get out of it. And yes, he has this profound item advantage, but what do you actually do if you're getting one shot before the fight even starts? And you can see KNG, they will try to take this Baron in response. Fury making sure that Foreigner cannot get anywhere near this pit. But he wants to look. He's going to pop the Scry's Bloom, get vision. And he's not going to be allowed into the pit.
Wood on across the wall, jumps to try and prevent Foreigner from running that play. He flashes inside the Baron pit. The TP, as you say, is coming on out to play. They leap into effect. Jovi's back. I've got that CC, I've got that damage, but he's just dead on respawn. That's not what you want there. Running in one by one, a bit of desperation so early on into the series. In a showcase that we want to remove as many Baron buffs as possible. All they have in fact removed is that of Karma.
I mean, what is Jovi doing there? Plain and simple, the TP in is good, but he dashes over the wall there without any teammates to back him up, gets CC'd 100 to 0. As we can take a look at how this initial fight unfolds. You can see Fury very fast here on this Galio, able to get out of the initial engage that Iron wants to put on towards him, and then this taunt actually lands onto Jovi that allows Victus to get in range, and then Woodon, he's ready to pounce, flashes in, gets the kill, and you can see the R2 here actually picking up Nebula on the back end there, so those 3 kills, enough to signal the Baron.
And it was the slash across the wall, the fadeaway kill, the 5-man attempt on that Baron, and a real messy affair right afterwards. This respawn time, albeit so low, we're there for Foreigner to try and keep things interesting. He managed to pick up that kill on the Karma, but wasn't able to wrangle much more in the end thereafter, and how many summoners burnt in that exchange. That certainly does mean now we look at that next dragon, which has spawned and is Ion favoured, most likely to be denied now.
Yeah, very hard for Ions to actually walk up to contest this objective here. KNG have full control on this bot side and will just equalize the dragon score here now. The question does become, how are we actually looking to set up these side lanes? Because you can see Woodon in that 1v1 versus Jovi, he actually can't really get too much work done because Tristana can just do the wave so efficiently. So I assume KNG would be wanting to set up on mid lane, playing with the poke of this Karma Jhin, and then using that to leverage a move to a side lane with a stacked wave. But for the time being, Foreigner content with counter jungling here on this Maokai. 172 CS, he's got more than his top laner here at 25 minutes.
It's been rough, and it's not very often you do see the Cassante fall behind so much, but there's pocket pick of the Riven. has worked once, and it may be working a second time. We get a little bit quieter, we get a little bit more in terms of the tense atmosphere. Wondering, will Woodham fall for the bait? One goes back to base, Doraemon reveals himself, and he won't fall victim to any little cheesy bush tactics.
That's the kind of discipline you love to see from a rookie top laner there, acknowledging that, hey, I don't see Jovi or Doraemon on the side lanes. Why would they not be showing this Tristana? She's so much of their power, and just respect that little window there. That's something really nice and really refreshing to see from such a young player. To keep the Baron alive, keep that push alive, and really keep the tempo up. It's also a 350 gold bounty on his head, so yeah, Jovi's kind of griefed the last two team fights, but certainly you don't want any more gold going over into his pockets. And after all things are said and done, the Baron times out. It's a 1,500 gold lead. Still, by no means is this a one game for either side. As you can see, mid lane will be the posturing. Here goes all the CC. It finds Sticks. He has a cleanse.
He has cleansed that one thing, but he's got a Nature's Grasp ready to try and chase him on down, but he just gets out of range. And they missed the moment to pounce again. This ability to try and pull the trigger with the Ashe, whilst usually very deadly, has not worked against them. It's not working in their favour. And Woodon, despite having no TP, is playing as if he does.
Well, with the Riven, you have so much mobility that you practically have a TP in terms of being able to get to whatever lane you need to. Doraemon getting a bit aggressive here, but Woodon, he's got so much sustain with that Ravenous Hydra, so much mobility as well that it's incredibly hard for him to get locked down. As he did worry for Nebula there for a second whether Invictus was going to pull the ultimate, but instead it will opt to just take the turret and transition down towards this bot lane. Now, no Baron to buff up the waves, but it is a very low HP turret, and KNG will be more than content with taking their second tier 2 of the game.
But they certainly will. 5 in total, their max, 5 against 2, and the ability for them to continue to exert their pressure. Once again, the gold lead bouncing back in favour for KNG. Up by 3,000, 2 Drakes apiece. And no shortage of options for these teams to find a reason to try and force a fight yet again. Back to base goes Sticks, picking up now the Infinity Edge as he weaves in a little bit of that critical strike to really make sure that that fourth shot hits with a bit of emphasis in taking down a crucial target. And I say this Vi Galio is working quite nicely. It's not the Camille that you'd hoped for, but certainly a different brand of that.
Yeah, nonetheless, though, it won't deter Iron from going for the engage. The Crystal Arrow does land.
But it's only does laying out all the other CC right off with the Titanic Corruption, the most important one to kill the members of KNG stuck in place, but they can't find the kill they're hunting for. The sustain is too much. The shields from this Karma prove to be decisive, and the Curtain Call doesn't find the execution, but the Flash Pouch stunned by the Riven, and the Slash for good measure right after. They've taken down 3, and all that remains is a meager bot lane for the side of Ion, as KNG look for an ace and hunt for the perfect one at that.
Ion choose their fight, and they also choose their downfall in doing so. Simply better execution coming out from KNG, finding the carries with that cohesive engage, and they have the wave here. Now, is Nebula enough of a deterrent? I don't think so. KNG are looking to close out game 1.
But they certainly are, for all the measure, for all the merit, and all the spice that Ion delivered in that initial passage of play. To have the most fed Tristana, but to not be able to utilize it, they're going to feel as if they did get robbed. They had all the CC, all the damage. But KNG, with this double supportive style game,